New stadium news. Sir Jim and Co. dropped the mega design for the future of Manchester United. Crazy new stadium. They got the Trident involved. It's like a net over 100,000 person stadium. Redevelop entire neighborhood in Manchester. That's a very ambitious project. Sir, just let's react to the design. We've seen the video. We've seen the design. What do you think of the new stadium here? New stadium.
It's a design.
Visible from 40 kilometers, 200.
It dropped. The timing feels a little suspicious given the protests that happened at Old Trafford on Sunday, and then this video dropped on Tuesday. Initially, just like from a spot check perspective, I hated it when I first saw it because it's like it has no connection at all with kind of the historical aesthetic of Old Trafford that I enjoyed. I've always enjoyed that. I kind of like have come to know that square, those big kind of arches, and it's completely different. But it's grown on me over time because there's an ambition behind this. I don't know how real it is. It definitely has like some Qatar, Middle East World Cup vibes in terms of the gloss because maybe they rushed this out. Maybe they were waiting to do it. They wanted to do it because, hey, take some heat off. It has taken the heat off, if you've noticed. But I could see the vision. I could see why you want to do something this big. You want to have like a statement stadium. I can get behind this. I mean, it looks cool. It is completely different. It's iconic. It's not like the Old Trafford that we know right now, which is also iconic, but it is so distinct that it certainly would be unique around the world. My fear is this thing will never get built because we don't have a lot of money and this looks expensive and everything around it will look expensive. And also England would have to lift quite a bit, right? Because you have to move the shipyard. That would go on the government. The government, they're not, cash isn't coming out of their ears. So they also have challenges just like Manchester United. So I like the ambition, the style. It's not my favorite, but it is ambitious. I just don't think, I don't know. Are we ever going to see this? I don't know. What do you think, sir? Cut it down to size.
I mean, for me, it's all about the bucks. It's all about the bucks, kid.
It's all about bucks, kid. The rest is conversation.
And this, to me, is a whole lot of conversation. Manchester United, Sir Jim, the day before this is announced, is like, we're going to run out of money. Then it's like, just kidding. We're getting a new $2 billion car. It's going to be really fast. It's going to be really great. It's almost like he's gaslighting the fan base. I want this to be real. Like, hey, somebody comes to town and they got the money and they're like, hey, we're building the best stadium ever for the best club ever. I'm behind it. Even if hey, build it. I'll go to it. It will probably be amazing. Make a lot of money for the team as well. But is this what we need right now? I feel like the timing is a little bizarre. I feel like it's kind of rushed, like you said. It's a beautiful design. Say the government chips in and they redo the entire area and they build this amazing stadium. It will be unbelievable. It will be like the best stadium in the world. And obviously the architect who designed it is very famous. The Trident, everything about it is just like very ambitious and very cool. But it just seems to me like when Qatar was pitching the World Cup, and like we're gonna have
floating ACs,
we're gonna have these like floating clouds over the stadium. And by the way, we went to Qatar and the sidewalks weren't even straight, And so at the end of the day, like that's more of the vibe I'm getting, and the fact that this is just hot air, and they need to sell it because they don't got the $2 billion, so they got to sell it to Wall Street, or they got to raise the funds, or they got to sell it to. This is going to add more debt onto Manchester United, or they're selling to the government. And so, like, do we need this stadium right now and $2 billion of debt? Are they just building the stadium to make more revenues and more money? Why don't we just get Manchester United stable from a fiscal perspective like we are doing now, renovate Carrington, patch up the stadium a little bit, and then just like kind of punt this into the future when Manchester United is cash flowing much more money? I feel like we're doing too much at once. It's all being rushed. And despite me liking the stadium and wanting to believe that one day United will play in a stadium like this, I feel like this is a lot of hot air.
I mean, it definitely is. If you watch the videos with Jim, there's a video with Jim, Omar, and the guy who's on like the steering committee for the Old Trafford or the new stadium. It feels like they're on a road show. It feels like they're trying to sell this because hey, we're going to build the greatest stadium in the world for the greatest club in the world, which I like that part. Like you said, it's like this is an ambitious stadium design for an ambitious club. Like Old Trafford has been allowed to rot. The Glazers kind of destroyed it. It would probably be in a place where they could do like a Bernabeu style refurbishment, same exact footprint, and cost maybe $1 billion instead of doing a $2 billion rebuild. This feels so early because, like you said, he got on the air with fucking Neville a day before talking about, we're running out of money, which is not true. But the club is in dire strait. I mean, it's in a tough position financially. It's not. No one's looking to put more money in, and this is expensive. But they seem to think it's going to bring a shit ton more revenue. The numbers they're using are really high. I'm not even going to say them, but probably that's towards the bankers. It's like, hey, come finance the stadium with a 30-year term loan because it's going to shit off so much cash.
And if it doesn't, then
they're fucked.
The
United's
club's
fucked,
hurt, right? So that's what I'm trying to get at. And again, ARD trying to like shoot you straight on this one, where the question is like, you can't be saying on Monday that, hey, you know, we're broke and this is why everything's this way. This is why we got to fire everyone. And then on Tuesday be like, hey, we're building a $2 billion stadium. It's going to be great. It's like, you can't, that is insane. And the fact that this
is a little schizophrenic.
Those two things can't exist, because you're talking about the debt on one interview. You're talking about how you're running out of money. By the way, you're not running out of money because there's more debt available. So like, you're lying about that. You're also lying about how much money we're losing, because that's just what you're reporting. But the cash flow is actually different. The actual amount of cash you're making is different. I just feel like it's just like you're saying you're broke in one respect, and then all of a sudden like, hey, we're doing this $2 billion stadium. If he didn't do the interview, I think it'd be less schizophrenic, like you kind of mentioned. But the fact that they're just like almost gaslighting the fan base, where you're like, hey, feel bad for us, we're out of money, but then we're going to somehow add more debt onto the team. We haven't even talked about what we're going to do with the Glazers' debt, or we're not even going to deal with that debt until we get new debt on. And it just seems like it's a desperate move. By the way,
desperate club.
When you're cost cutting at the rate that they are, it's desperate. When you're hiring Dan Ashworth and you're firing him in 4 months, that's desperate. When you're just picking the next best manager without really understanding the implications of that on the squad, it's desperate. When you're backing Ten Hag in the summer and then sacking him, it's desperate. And everything that they have done is like that. And I continue to see this pattern. And Sir Jim, I think, is just way too involved in everything, and he's a nervous guy. And I think that they're just kind of pulling at everything and seeing what sticks. And ultimately, I think they're going to find out that there isn't going to be the money available from the government or from the private markets to fund this level of development, and they'll have to adjust tact. But the good news is we did go to the stadium, to Old Trafford, when we went to the Arsenal match, and it was unbelievable. In seat, it's an unbelievable stadium.
In seat.
Once you're like outside,
like this, as long as you straight down.
When you're outside, it's run down. Everything, you're in seat. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love Old Trafford.
The history is incredible, and the vibe.
The Bernabeu. That's how you run a team. They're not going to be broke from a new stadium. Arsenal, new stadium affected them for years. Look at Tottenham, right? So the whole idea is, if you build this, you get more debt, and then you got to pay down the stadium instead of investing in the team. And we're already in that position in some degree. So I'm just worried about the financial position of the team, and why now? Why can't we punt this 5 years from now, when all of a sudden we fixed all of our financial problems and we're playing well on the pitch? Why do we have to rush this? It feels like a rush job to me.
I think they're desperate, the same reason where they were making rash decisions around firing or retaining certain managers or certain directors of football. I think they feel the heat. I think Sir Jim doesn't like being called the C word. I think he is not used to being called out, that level of vitriol. That like, yo, bro, you bought the biggest club in the world, and fans are pissed, and they're pissed at you because you've been firing people, the football shit, and you got a lot of excuses. You make Alex proud, the level of excuse factory you got going on out of Monaco, Mr. Sir Jim. But yeah, I could see the argument, but like you said, we're in dire straits, and I feel like they're just selling this to the market. Like, hey, they're selling it to the government. They're selling, like you said, to the bankers in America or elsewhere to basically like, hey, come finance this thing. Because I didn't like it at first, but it looks badass. I mean, the idea of a fucking trident and the whole thing covered and a mixed-use commercial, like there is cash in those hills. It's just this is a level of ambition that you need to have like the entire English government basically behind you, and I'm not sure they're going to get that level of support. At the same time, you're going to need private money to step up, and at the same time, we have a fucking team to rebuild. So it's like we have a lot of priorities. I would love to do this, but like you said,
$500 million into the team.
both.
We don't, but like
Maybe they're selling this to Qatar, bro. Maybe they're like, yo, this is what you can build if you buy us, bail me out. And then
No, he said that they weren't going to sell it to Qatar. But regardless,
he did say that.
Let us know what you think. Is this even real? You know, do you like the design? Like, I like the design. I like the idea of it. It's incredible. But, you know, unfortunately, I'm just kind of a realist being like, hey, where's the money, Lebowski? You know, like who's going to pay for this thing? Because you told us we're broke. We are broke and in debt, and then like $2 billion more. So it's got to come from somewhere, sir. It's basically gravity. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Unbelievable design. Is this going to create financial ruin for the club? Please like, subscribe, and comment below, and we'll see you in the next Manchester United video.